Hello there, and welcome to the world of the lost. I'm Linda Simmons, and I'm back with another mysterious story from the foggy shores of Nova Scotia. In my last episode, I told the story behind the ghost ship Baltimore that arrived in Shipwreck Harbor in 1735 with blood on the deck, no crew, and a single woman with a story that just didn't add up. Keeping with the theme of missing crews, today we'll explore the mystery of a three-masted schooner found drifting in a weakened condition. There was no crew on board, no survivors, no bodies, no clear explanation. Only a name still visible on her hull: Lewis K. Cottingham. The Lewis K. Cottingham was an American-registered three-masted schooner working the coastal trade. On board were 7 men. The captain was Frank Curry, a man originally from Harborville, Nova Scotia, who had moved his family to Rockland, Maine. The rest of the crew are not yet fully known, though contemporary reports confirm there were 6 men sailing with him. The names we know are John Shostrom, Neil Erickson, Magnus Bjerregaard, Viggo Olsen, and Albert Munson, and an unknown sailor not recorded in any of the newspaper accounts that I could find. 7 men in all. So what happened? In late December of 1915, she left Gold River, Nova Scotia, laden with lumber and bound for New York. It was a routine voyage for vessels like her. Winter sailing along the coast was never easy, but it was common. By early January, the Lewis K. Cottingham had already run into trouble. On January 3rd, she was reported at Shelburne, Nova Scotia. She had made it through heavy gales, but not without damage. Her deck load of lumber had been swept away. Parts of her structure were compromised. Some reports suggest that deck houses and hatches had been carried off, and at least one mast had been damaged. She had survived, but she was no longer a sound vessel. And yet, she sailed again from Shelburne. We don't know why. Perhaps there was pressure to deliver the cargo. Perhaps the damage did not seem beyond repair. Perhaps this was simply what working schooners did. But sometime after January 3rd, the Lewis K. Cottingham left the shelter of Shelburne Harbor and returned to open water. What happened next is not recorded. There are no surviving crew to tell us. No distress signals were received. No sightings were made. Only the silence that followed. Days later, a week later, in fact, on January 10th, near Seal Island, a vessel was sighted in distress from the lighthouse. A call was made to Yarmouth using the recently installed telephone line. A tug, the Hugh D., operated by H.B. Cann of Yarmouth, was dispatched. Men from Seal Island launched dories and rowed out to the drifting schooner. But there was no one aboard. The stern of the vessel had been torn away. The lifeboat, which had hung at the stern, was gone. Only one mast remained standing. Her deck was stripped. Her deck cargo was lost. There was no sign of the crew, no indication of what had happened to them. Only the remains of the vessel itself, damaged, abandoned, and silent. The schooner was towed to the east side of Seal Island and beached. Her cargo, what remained, was salvaged by local men. The wreck itself did not last. Storms and surf gradually broke her apart. Her ribs and keel would appear and disappear in the sand in the years that followed, briefly visible and then gone again. 7 men had sailed from Gold River. They had survived at least one storm. They had reached shelter in Shelburne, and then they vanished somewhere between that harbor and Seal Island. Contemporary reports say that efforts were made to locate them. There was hope at first that they had been rescued, but no confirmation ever came. No lifeboat was found, no wreckage linked directly to the crew, no final account. What happened to the men of the Lewis K. Cottingham? Was the ship struck in the night by another vessel? One that never stopped? Is that how her stern was ripped away? Did a second storm tear away what remained of her structure, forcing the crew into the sea? Did they take the lifeboat, only to be lost beyond sight of land? There are no clear answers, only possibilities. Back in Harborville, a mother waited for word of her son. Women and children waited for word of the captain and the crew, hoping beyond hope that they would be found, but word of their survival never came. The sea gave back the Lewis K. Cottingham, but it never gave back her men. If you have any information about the crew of the Lewis K. Cottingham, or records that may help tell the rest of the story, I'd love to hear from you. Because some stories aren't finished, they're just waiting. If you enjoyed this story and want to keep exploring these mysteries with me, please like and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious.